Today we're going to present how SDG 8 hopes to heal the labor market. Elsa, are you ready?
Yes. Olivia, are you ready?
Yes. Frida, are you ready?
Of course. How about you?
Yes!
Then, let's get started.
Imagine you are in a country with a struggling economy, recently impacted by tariff-related issues. Because of weak economic institutions, you and your family's lives are directly affected. You lose your job and can't even maintain a decent standard of living. What a horrifying situation. This is the kind of global challenge addressed by Sustainable Development Goal 8. SDG 8 tries to achieve inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. Although there are many features of this goal, one of the most important is the government's involvement in the economy.
We believe that effective government policy is crucial to making sure everyone has basic economic security. In our speech today, we would like to share with you examples of good and bad economic policies all over the globe, as well as what kind of economic institutions we hope for in the future.
When it comes to good economic policy, Singapore is a perfect example. As you know, Singapore is a small island country in Southeast Asia, which despite its size nonetheless has a high GDP ranking in the world. GDP measures the productivity and economic growth rate of a country. Even though Singapore only has 6 million people, it has the 26th highest GDP in the world. If we divide GDP by the number of people in Singapore, then the value produced by the average person is $88,000. That's almost 3 times as much as the GDP per capita in Taiwan. How has Singapore achieved such a strong economy? Frankly speaking, Singapore's economy is super open and business-friendly as the government plays a big role and takes many measures to improve it. They keep taxes low, welcome global companies, and run huge investment funds. Undoubtedly, all of these policies rely on a stable political environment in which people trust the government to turn policy into effect. In the face of global challenges like the pandemic, Singapore's economy proved its resilience with an annual growth of 4.4% of its real GDP in 2024, far higher than the performance of only 1.8% in 2023. Thanks to smart policies, strong education, and focus on technology and innovation, Singapore has grown into a major financial and tech center all over the world.
Although some countries have shown clear growth, but there are still others that have not. One example is Costa Rica, located in North America. First of all, workers' basic rights are not protected. For instance, the right to form association. Although the law allows workers to organize labor unions, in reality, many companies suppress union activities, leading to union members being fired, intimidated, and harassed, and workers being strongly discouraged from joining unions, making workers afraid to exercise this right. Next is the issue of employment. According to the latest data, Costa Rica's employment rate has dropped to about 58.6% compared to 61.6% before the pandemic. What's worse, there is a problem of youth who are neither employed nor in school. Statistics show that about 25.2% of Costa Rican youth are not attending school, working, or receiving any kind of training, which is much higher than the global average of around 15%. This is in large part because many public schools do not encourage students to continue their education, and there is a huge disparity between the minimum wage and the cost of living. These numbers show that although Costa Rica has made progress in some areas, there is still much room for improvement in protecting labor's rights and addressing youth employment issues.
Summarizing the above, what lesson can we learn from the economic policy of Singapore and the challenges faced by Costa Rica? First of all, we need a policy which encourages investment in business. To start a business, everyone knows that the first necessary condition is money. Well, for a young entrepreneur, one of the best ways to get capital is a business loan. Unfortunately, if we take Taiwan as an example, although the loan approval rate is 90%, the upper limit on loan is only 2 million with a term of 7 years. Additionally, applicants are required to take entrepreneurship-related training courses before registration. On top of this, there are many extra regulations and the application process is cumbersome. We hope the barriers to receiving loans can be reduced and simplified. Finally, we would like you to consider that, although economic development is important, SDG demands sustainable long-term growth. That's an aspect of SDG. If businesses manage to get loans, then they should still have environmentally friendly corporate practices. One organization that has adopted praiseworthy policies is RE100, led by the Climate Group and the Carbon Disclosure Project. They are committed to calling on companies from all countries to jointly protect the natural environment, reduce carbon emissions, and environmental pollution. Acer, one of Taiwan's multinational technology companies, has committed to use 100% renewable energy by 2035. They have already begun installing solar panels across the Iberian Peninsula. Thanks to this initiative, the Acer Group's renewable energy usage rate reached 44% in 2020. The solar panels generate 84,000 kilowatt-hours of electricity, significantly reducing reliance on power companies. Reducing energy costs means more money can be invested in other company projects, further driving company growth.
In conclusion, if we want to achieve sustainable economic growth, we should make sure all countries, including small or developing nations, have effective economic policy, just as those in more economically mature countries. At the same time, companies should actively engage with the government to foster open communication and stable, growth-friendly markets. Only when governments provide solid policy and company plan for the long run can we build a future that is not only prosperous, but inclusive and sustainable for everyone.
我们是
第三组
周品源、
曹信元、
严子玲
Thanks.
立正。
然后大家看到上面。